What's up guys, Dave here from Red Dot Shooters, and today we're going to unbox and review this Red Dot sight. Alright guys, so as you can see here we have the Swampfox Kraken. This is a really cool little sight in my opinion. It is designed as a pistol optic, but it can be used for different purposes as well. Basically this is the poor man's acro. Acro is super expensive, looks like a great sight. I've never used it, but this one also looks like a great sight to me, and I wanted to try it out. So I bought one. I got this one in a green dot model, which most of my dots are red. In fact, all my dots are red right now, except for this one. But I got a green. I like green and red. I do prefer red mostly, but green is fine too. It's all personal preference. But this is a cool little enclosed emitter pistol optic, and we're going to unbox it today and see what you get with it. So let's get started. Now this is actually the second enclosed emitter optic that I have for a pistol. First one I got, and I have a review on it, is the Holosun EPS, and this is a really awesome optic. Love it. Check out my review to get all the details on it. I do like how it's a little bit more low profile, less mailboxy than some of the other sights, but honestly I'm starting to get used to the mailboxes, and for me it's not as big a deal as it used to be. So, but like I said, EPS, great enclosed emitter red dot sight, and the Swampfox Kraken is going to be my second bit of experience with an enclosed emitter pistol optic. But let's unbox this thing and see what you get with it. All right, nice packaging. I did buy this optic myself. It was not sent into the channel. Got some stuff there. Oh, really nice manual. Colored pictures. I might actually take a look at that. Maybe not. Got a lens cloth right here. Alright, here is all the good stuff, the goodies that we have here. CR2032. Very nice. What's this? We have some tools for mounting and maybe zeroing. Oh, okay. We have some screws and one of the included adapter plates. And this must be the other adapter. Yeah. Okay, we'll talk about those in a minute. And here's the sight. Ooh, very cool. Let's take it out of this stupid bag. Getting a little crowded here. Really cool. One thing in my mind, these things look giant when they're on a pistol, but it is a small sight when I have it here in my hand. Like one of the things I wanted to do was I brought one of my Romeo 5s. I have tons of these great rifle sights right here, affordable too, but I wanted to kind of compare it size wise. I'm like, is it that much smaller? And it is much smaller, much lighter too. You have the mounting system right here, which I believe is proprietary to the Swampfox Kraken, but it's kind of like a little Picatinny rail attachment. Battery compartment right here, windage and elevation, brightness controls on this side with your Kraken right there, and the chevrons on the top. It's pretty cool. Let's check out some of this other stuff as well. Okay, so here we have the adapter plates. Now, like I said, the mounting system is proprietary. I don't know why they didn't just make it an acro footprint. They should have, but at least they give you a couple of adapter plates right out of the box. So it shouldn't be too hard to get your Kraken mounted on a pistol. And so you get two adapter plates in the box. You can see that they are marked very clearly, and I don't even want to take them out because they have the screws in there. Oh, the bags are marked as well. They have the screws in there for mounting as well. So that's pretty cool. They've really laid it out very nicely, made it as clear as possible what you're supposed to be using when you mount it. So that's cool. But right here we have an RMR plate. You can check it out right there. It is metal, and you also have an MOS plate, which is also metal. So if you got a Glock MOS, you'll be good to go with the Kraken, or if you have something that has a RMR cut on it, you'll also be good. And the RMR is what I'm going to be using because I've got the poor man's acro, so I'm going to be putting it on the poor man's Glock 45. I do have a 45 as well. But this is the PSA dagger. It's the full size grip with a shortened slide. Looks like an awesome little pistol right here. Ton of pistol for the money. But yeah, I've got the RMR plate here, which I'm gonna use. See how it fits right there. Yeah. And we'll put the Kraken on top of that. It's gonna look something. Ugh. Now I'll get it mounted later. But this is what I'm gonna put it on. Now, one thing about these adapter plates is they look really freaking thick. I mean, look at that thing. Did they have to make it that thick? Was there a reason why they made it that way? It would be nicer if that were thinner, because then you could sit the sight a little bit lower on the slide, which I have found makes a little bit of a difference for me when shooting, at least when I'm trying to acquire the dot. But yeah, these are pretty thick. Looks like the MOS plate is a little thinner, side by side. I mean, it's not the end of the world, but that is kind of thick. Alright, so let's talk about this sight a little bit. Actually, first let's put in the battery. Comes with a CR2032 battery. Let's open that up. And it looks like all you have to do is open the battery compartment here. Yeah. Drop it in. Okay. Let's see if it turns on. Aha. We got it. I don't know if you can see it right there. Pretty cool. And like I told you, this one, I did get this one as a green dot, which is kind of cool. I've got lots of red dots, so figured I'd try out the green with this one. Now the dot is a 3 MOA dot, which I think is a good size. Should be fairly easy to acquire, but yet still small, precise. I think it'll be fine for me. Yeah, it's pretty cool. Aside from that, this thing is supposed to be very durable. It is 7075 aircraft grade aluminum, so very strong aluminum. It is built like a little tank, you could see that. All the mailbox sights kind of are. And there's torture tests online of these things, people freezing them and stuff like that. They look pretty tough to me. I'm not too worried about durability. Aside from that, it's also waterproof, IPX7, so it's gonna handle rain, snow, no problems, which is all I'm asking a sight to do as just a regular guy, civilian. And then again, it takes that 2032 battery, side loading, so you don't have to, you know, take it off, which is stupid. Take the side off to put your battery in. But the battery life, what they say is it's going to give you around 2 years worth of real world battery. That's kind of weird, kind of vague, kind of weird way to say it, but it does have shake and wake is what they call it. All the companies call it something different. They call it shake and wake, so when it's not moving, when your gun's not moving, it's going to be sitting there and eventually turn off and save your battery life. And then as soon as you grab your gun, as soon as it senses some motion, it'll turn back on and be ready to go for you. I love that feature. And so as long as you're getting, I think as long as you're getting over a year battery life, then I'm happy, because you should be swapping out that battery once a year anyway. So I think the battery life is going to be pretty good. Let's clear some of this stuff off a little bit. Now, as I'm looking through it over here, the size of the lens is a little bit small. I mean, it's, when I look through them, I don't know if you could see that. But it's definitely a smaller size window than the EPS. But I don't think that's going to be a problem. Here's my Glock 48 with a 507C, or not 507C, the 507K. It might even be smaller than the 507K's sight window. But honestly, I don't think that's going to be an issue, because I do shoot these sights with 2 eyes open. So a bigger sight window is nice, but I don't think it's going to be necessary. I think it's going to be just fine. Another thing I will mention, I've never used this sight, so keep that in mind as I'm just blabbering here. but the housing is really thick on the Kraken, and I'm sure that's very good for durability. Is that going to be a problem when I'm actually going to use it? Again, I don't think it will be, because I'm gonna, like I said, I shoot with 2 eyes open, so it should be fine, but I don't know. We'll find out. Alright guys, so basically I've told you everything I know about this sight right now. I need to get it mounted to my gun. I need to take it out and shoot it, and then I'm gonna come back and tell you what I think. Alright, see you then. Alright guys, so I'm back, and let's just get right to it. The question is, did I enjoy using this optic, the Kraken? And the answer to that is, absolutely I did. This thing is freaking awesome, and I'm going to tell you what I liked about it. I will offer a couple of critiques. Not everything's perfect, but I do think it's a good sight, and I'm going to tell you why I think that. Specifically why. And again, I'm also going to tell you some of the things I don't like about it, and then at the end, hopefully that will help you decide whether or not this sight is something that's going to work for you or not. Now the first thing I want to do is, and I should have done this in the first half of this video, I want to explain what a closed emitter pistol optic is. You know, not everybody watching this video might understand what's an enclosed emitter, what's an open emitter. Like, these are terms that are tossed around by me and other people really easily, but some people might not be familiar with them. So real quick, I've got 2 red dot, or this is a green dot actually, but I've got 2 optics right here. This is an open emitter red dot, and this is a closed emitter. And the difference is this. So with the open emitter, you can see it's open back here. There's no rear lens. There's a front lens, there's no rear lens. There is an emitter that shoots the red dot image onto that lens, and then that's how you're able to see it. Now the potential issue with an open emitter red dot is that something can easily get into this space and block the emitter, which would take the reticle away from the lens and you wouldn't be able to see it. Now, has that ever happened to me? No, it has not. But even though it hasn't happened, the potential is still there. And by the way, this is the Holosun 407C, which is a great red dot. I love it. I have no plans on replacing it on this G45. Really awesome open emitter red dot sight. But like I said, there is the potential for something like rain, dirt, mud to get in there and block it. And that's kind of the potential issue that you might have with an open emitter red dot sight. To fix that, there are closed emitter red dots. And many of them look like these mailboxes. Some of the Holosuns might look a little bit different. But the main difference is you have a front lens on this one, and you also have a rear lens protecting that emitter, which is inside. So nothing can get in there and block it. So just by its nature, it's a more rugged design, and that's why these closed emitters are becoming more and more popular, because optics manufacturers are starting to figure out how to make sights small enough to get them on handguns, on these pistols. So that's what I'm talking about when I talk about closed emitter versus open emitter. And here's the thing too. I've never had the emitter be blocked, but I do carry this gun, and I also carry the 507K right here, which is also an open emitter. And at the end of the day, the inside of the sight is just covered with like t-shirt lint and stuff like that. So what I end up having to do is every single day I take my compressed air and I give it some sprays to clear out everything. You won't have to do that with a closed emitter like this, because it's all contained in there. You might have to wipe off the lens, but that's a lot easier to do than to kind of dig inside and clean off the lens, which is what you have to do with an open emitter. And guys, all these guns I'm showing you, the 45, the 17, the 48, I have links in the description showing you everything I did with these. So if you're curious about the slide work that I had done, the optics, the lights, the barrels, whatever it is, it's all in the description. Just check out those parts lists, those build lists, and you'll be able to see everything I did to these guns. Now, with all that out of the way, let's talk specifically about the Kraken. What did I like about it? Well, a lot of things. The first thing that I ended up liking about it was that it was very easy to mount. Like I told you in the first half of this video, it comes with the RMR adapter plate, and it also comes with this MOS adapter plate. From the beginning, my plan was to put it on this PSA dagger, and so I knew I was going to use the RMR plate. The screws that came with it were the right length, and it just went on super easy. So just used a little bit of blue Loctite, and it's been pretty secure. I haven't noticed any issues with it loosening up. So super easy to mount on a gun that has an RMR footprint or the Glock MOS footprint. That's cool. All that being said, one of the things that I'm not super crazy about is that these adapter plates are freaking thick. I mean, look at that thing. That thing is fat. The MOS plate is a little thinner than this RMR one, but honestly, I don't like that very much. That's one of the things I would change if I could about this sight. I want it to sit lower. I don't like that fat plate. I can't see these backup sights with this setup. I think the sights that come on the dagger are Ameriglo sights, which I love. I think they're the exact same sights that I put on my G45, and I can totally see them in the lower 1/3 with the 407C that I have here, but you can't see them at all with the Kraken because it sits too high. And there are higher sights that you can get for Glocks and for the dagger. There's even models that come with, you know, higher suppressor sights than this. So you can fix that problem, but I still wish it worked with these ones. If I could just barely see them at the bottom of the sight window, that would be perfect for me. And I think I could if this plate wasn't so freaking thick. So that's one thing I would change, just so I could see these particular sights. Again, that's something you could fix, taller sights. Maybe that's something I'll do later. But again, it was still easy to mount, and after that I took it to the range. I only took this out one time, so you can keep that in mind as I go through this review. But I took it to the range, and I had to zero it. And that reminds me of another reason why I want to see those sights. I typically like to just slave the dot to the irons right through the window, and usually that gets the dot right on for me, or it gets it super close. Obviously, since I couldn't see them through this optic, I wasn't able to do it with the Kraken. So when I took it to the range, I did have to zero it. But I'm happy to report that it didn't take me very long at all. It was shooting a little bit low left, and I know and I know some people will say that's because I was flinching, and I was flinching, but it actually was shooting low left. I did zero it. Didn't take very long at all, and just due to where I was and how quick I wanted to get it zeroed, I only zeroed it at 7 yards. So again, with handgun optics, people have their opinions about all different distances that you should zero at. 7 yards, 10 yards, 15 yards, 25 yards. I usually do like 15 yards, but is that the best? I don't know. I use it sometimes. When you're shooting at handgun distances, it doesn't really make that much of a difference. I do want to stretch this out to 50, but I'll have to wait till I have a chance to go out shooting into the desert, which is typically what I like to do. But anyway, 7 yard zero on this, just so I could shoot it for the day, nice and quick, and yeah, it was super easy to zero. You just take the little tool that's included. It's just like a little screwdriver right here, and you can spin them. The clicks are nice and positive, and I think within, 10 or 15 shots I had this thing zeroed. And I will show you a little bit of the shooting that I did. And also throughout this video you'll see some of the shooting footage. You're gonna see a lot of choke ups with this gun. And that's not because of the gun, it's not because of the optic, it's because the ammo that I was shooting is remanufactured and it sucks. It's really weak. It was causing me feeding issues, it was causing me stovepipes. It sucked. For many years, I have shot with the cheapest, crappiest, remanufactured ammo I could find, just because I wanted to save a little bit of money. And I never had any problems until I just bought this new batch from a new manufacturer, and it sucks. So yeah, you'll see some malfunctions. It does choke up a bit. Again, it's ammo, it's crappy ammo. I'm not gonna buy it anymore, I'm just gonna stick to factory stuff. But yeah, that's what happened. Alright guys, so again, these are all about 7 yards, nothing crazy, but my first few shots when I was zeroing were right here, and I kind of worked it in up to here, and I was happy with it at that point. Got a lot of groups with the dagger. Here's another one right here, decent group, 7 yards. Another one right here. This one right here, I think I have footage of me shooting this one right here. I'll try and overlay it over this right now. Man, M&P was freaking smoking at that, in that group. But that's for a different review. And then another one I think I have on video is this one right here. I mean, these are decent groups. I'm not shooting as fast as I can in these groups. I'm also not shooting as slow as I can. I'm not the greatest shooter around. I'm just an average shooter. But they, I don't know, they're decent groups.
That's at 2 a.m.
Yeah,
show you a little bit more. Another one right here. These are some of my targets that I made, just because it's nice to be able to print off some targets sometimes. If you're in need of targets, go right here, get your targets, just print them off for free. And I think these are cool because depending on what you want to do, if you want to keep it in the box or do more accurate shots, you can do it. But just for this review, I took some shots at the center bullseye. I was hitting a little bit low, but that's okay, not bad. And then let's see what else I have. Some more groups here. Kind of slow fire with the dagger. Pretty good group. Look at that one with the G17. Ah, that's this puppy right here. Love this gun with the EPS. Yeah, but this review is not about that. But yeah, this dagger group is super good. 7 yards. And then a lot of these shots, you know, most of these shots on the bottles were more rapid fire shots, and most of them were with the Kraken, so not bad there. These chickens, some of these shots on the chickens were with the Kraken and the dagger, and some were with the G17 that I already showed you. So, did using this dot prohibit me from shooting accurately and quickly in any way? No, it did not. I had a blast shooting with it. I felt like it was really easy to shoot accurately with it. You can see the group right here, 7 yards. Not, you know, nothing crazy, but it's one big hole. And it was easy to track, and it was easy to transition because I was transitioning with these different bottles and with the roosters at the bottom. Now the sight window is kind of small compared to some of my other dots, and on top of that, the outer housing is super thick on the Kraken, which again is going to make it more durable, but I didn't know how that would transition to actually using it and shooting with it, and I didn't find it to be a problem. The dot was really easy for me to find. I typically will present and then drop the dot into the center of the glass just from the top every time, and that kind of helps me be consistent with it. But yeah, I didn't have any problems finding the dot, tracking the dot to my ability of shooting, and I thought it was awesome. It was really fun because it was really easy to use. On top of that, it's also a 3 MOA dot. On camera, it's not as crisp and clean and small as it actually is in real life. It's always fatter on camera for me when I'm doing these videos. But it's a good crisp dot, 3 MOA, which is a great size, in my opinion, because it just helps you shoot accurately. I know there's people that like larger MOA dots on their handgun optics. I like 3 MOA or 2 MOA. I don't like 1, it gets a little bit too small for me, but 2 MOA or 3 MOA is kind of the perfect size for me. That's what I prefer. Another very important feature from this sight for me is that the dot gets super bright on the high levels. There's a total of 10 brightness settings. The bottom 2 are for night vision, so if you have like night vision stuff, you can use those. I don't have that, but that stuff's cool. But on the high end, it gets very bright. I live in the Vegas desert. When I'm shooting outside, it's super bright usually, and and I need a bright dot just to be able to see it well. And this one definitely gets bright enough. It is green rather than red, and like I told you before, I like both. I do prefer red if I'm getting picky, but when I was looking at these to buy, the green one was actually less expensive, so I picked that one up and it's fine. I don't really get too caught up over green or red the way some people do. Oh, and another thing I liked, it gets super bright and it's also really easy to adjust. I mean, the buttons are nice and large over here on the side, up, down, super easy, super simple. They're kind of protected a little bit by the sight housing around here, and it's a really ergonomic design that just works really, really well. Now, in terms of durability, this thing is a freaking little tank. And it should be, since it looks like a big little block on your since it looks like a little block on your gun. Again, I just took this thing one time out to shoot, so I'm not going to tell you that I tested the durability, but there's all sorts of durability tests of these things. They look super durable to me. I'm not worried about it at all. So obviously, I've got it mounted on a handgun here. I think it's a great optic for a handgun, but I also think it's a great optic for an offset red dot on a rifle that has like a fixed power scope or a variable scope. I mean, to me, this is perfect for that role because it's enclosed, it's strong, all those things we already talked about. I think it's better than using something like a Romeo 5, which as I said before, is a larger sight, and it's also better than using an open emitter red dot sight, which is what many people are using. I mean, an offset red dot on a carbine, this thing is perfect for that. So I just wanted to mention that because that's probably what I'm going to be doing myself on my scoped rifles. And then all you need is an offset mount, a 45-degree offset mount for an RMR, and you can mount this thing up there super easy. So that was actually my backup plan for this sight if I ended up not liking it on this dagger, but I do like it on this dagger, so I'm gonna keep it here because I dig this whole setup. I just think it's a really cool setup. The looks of the Kraken along with a light is cool to me, and this whole thing is kind of like a budget setup anyway, which I think is cool. This is another light that I'm kind of reviewing right now, but yeah, I dig this whole setup. It's a smooth shooter, it's an easy shooter, and it's also pretty affordable. So like I was saying, my plan, if I didn't like having the optic on this dagger, was to just throw it as an offset red dot on one of my carbines, but I think I'm gonna have to get a second one to do that with because I really like the sight on this gun. Alright, and that kind of brings us to the end of this review, and like I told you before, I really like this optic. I liked it because it was easy and quick to mount, it was easy to zero, it helped me shoot well in terms of my ability level when we're talking about speed and accuracy. The dot is a good 3 MOA dot, which I like. It's crisp and clear, it gets super bright, so I can use it even in the bright desert. And like I just told you, I love the idea of this dot as an offset red dot on a carbine or a rifle. I can tell you I really dig it on a pistol though. It's a big boy, it's a chunky fella right here, but it's fun to use when you're shooting. So in the end, should you get the Swampfox Kraken? That's the big question. My answer is, I bought this with my own money. I'm happy I bought it with my own money. I may end up buying a second one, like I said. So yeah, I think it's a great sight. I like that it comes in at a more affordable price than pretty much every other enclosed emitter pistol sight that I know of right now. So yeah, I think it's awesome, and I do recommend it if you don't mind the looks, which again, I dig this whole setup with the light. I think the light kind of balances it out a little bit. I don't know. Maybe I'm just happy with the way it performs, so I like the way it looks a little bit better. That could be the case. But like I said, I dig it. I think it's a cool sight. And if you don't mind the looks, then I think you'll probably like it too. Now, if you are interested in getting this sight, I will leave a link in the description below. That is an affiliate link, and that will help the channel grow if you enjoyed the review. Also, like I told you before, all the guns in this video, all my Glocks, if you saw anything that interests you, go in the description below. There's links to pages on my blog which show you everything I did with these Glocks. If you have any questions about them, that's where you're going to find all the answers. Other than that, thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe if you haven't already, and I hope you come back for the next video. See ya!